For many veterans, the memories of war can be difficult, even painful. But as John Lordson shows us, a Vietnam veteran in Otter Tail County is learning that fellow soldiers will follow through even half a century after their mission ends.
I signed a huge contract for $13,000 with the Atlanta Falcons.
John Norgard's path to Vietnam actually began on the football field. A standout quarterback at the University of Minnesota Morris, he had a tryout with the Atlanta Falcons. Making the team meant playing in the NFL. Getting cut meant going to war.
When Norm Van Brocklin called me in to cut me, he says, "Swede, what do you think you're going to do now?" And I said, "Well, I'm afraid I'm going to be going to Vietnam."
He became a medic who spent 13 months and 7 days in Vietnam. And like many soldiers, John saw things he'd rather not remember.
It was very tough on me, but I think it would have been very tough had I not had Eleanor.
Very proud of him. He was one of the older guys in his unit, and he took care of a lot of other people.
And he was recognized for it. Local newspapers even wrote about his time in combat.
He was directly responsible for saving the lives of several soldiers.
When the day finally came to go home in the spring of '71, John packed up his medals and memories and mailed them back to the States. The problem is, they never made it home.
Most of the stuff didn't matter until all of a sudden you get older and older and say, geez, you know, that would be neat.
Years went by with no sign of John's Vietnam box. But a couple states over in Michigan, Peter Lumborg and his wife Joan were trying to solve a decades-long mystery.
I'm amazed at it. I can't believe it's been in our basement all this time.
Peter was the postal clerk for John's company, though the men never met. All Peter knew was that for 52 years, a soldier's box had been sitting in his basement with no address on it.
I had a name, and that's about all there was. When you have to go back 50 years, you just couldn't find where people were.
Peter thinks John's address may have been torn off when soldiers were going through the mail during inspections. Not knowing where to send it, he took it home, but it never completely left his mind.
I had to get the mail through, deliver that mail.
So a few years ago, Peter's son did research on the name John Norgard and sent an email to someone he thought was a relative. Turns out it was John's daughter. That email got stuck in her spam folder. 4 years after it was sent, she finally saw the message and responded.
It's kind of hard to put into words to finally, it really actually happened.
The two veterans began sending letters to each other, and just before Memorial Day, it was agreed that Peter would drive to John and deliver his mail in person.
You've heard the term snail mail. I thought this is really slow, but at least I have it. But when he brought the box, still I didn't know what was in it.
That's where things really got interesting, with the Lundbergs and Eleanor watching.
It's an X-Acto knife.
John pulled out random memory after random memory from his time at war.
Tapes of the football games after the year we both graduated.
But the further down he got, he began to realize what he'd been missing. A Purple Heart, a Bronze Star, and then at the very bottom of the box, the Medal of Valor, earned while under enemy fire.
If any of them are going to bring tears to my eyes, this is the one that means the most, because I lost some soldiers on that evening when I earned this.
The two families talked for hours that day. For Peter Lundberg, it was mission accomplished after half a century.
Tears. He had tears, I had tears, and Eleanor had tears.
It's just about carrying through with things in your life. Finally, we got that one to check off.
Funny how an age-old mystery can lead to a new friendship.
It was fun, exciting, and oh my God, it's the real thing.
In Otter Tail County, John Lordson, WCCO News.
There's nothing quite like the wind in your hair on a beautiful day when you go on a bike ride. For many seniors, it's an experience they could only dream of doing again. But thanks to a Wisconsin-based nonprofit, that dream came true. Our Barrett Leone introduces us to Limitless Cycling.
With the ring of a bell, seniors at the waters in White Bear Lake
Oh, there they go.
are off to the races.
We just bring bikes out to give people rides.
Behind the pedals are the co-founders of Limitless Cycling, a traveling nonprofit that brings piloted adaptive bicycles to senior centers in Wisconsin and Minnesota.
I think it makes them feel included, and there's just something about just having wind in your face. As soon as they start to feel the wind in their face, they just light up and start talking.
And that they do.
Oh, you know, I think it is so wonderful.
Bringing meaningful moments and purposeful lives are really important to anybody, but especially seniors and then individuals with dementia. When you're able to do that, you're able to improve their lives. They tend to sleep better, they eat better, and why not? Why not be able to have a quality of life? And if we can offer that, that's the most important thing.
It's a simple concept with a huge impact.
Oh my gosh, fun is not even close. It's so much more.
You hear that? Fun isn't even close. It's so much more. Yeah.
Bringing smiles.
I should do it all the time, every day. Maybe you could just swing by on your way. Would that be nice? Yeah. Oh my goodness.
4 miles.
Really? So we're gonna do a wheelie?
In White Bear Lake, Barrett Leone, WCCO News.
A St. Paul woman fighting a terminal illness had just one wish: to ride a Harley. WCCO's Alan Henry sat down with her as she prepared to take her first and last ride.
If you don't take a chance sometimes in life, you regret it.
And Judy Yeager-Jones says she's determined to not have any regrets. Judy was diagnosed with a terminal illness in November and given just 6 months to live. But more than 8 months later, she's still making the most of her time.
I've had a lot of good things in my life, but I haven't ridden a motorcycle. So here I am.
Riding a Harley might seem like an unusual bucket list item for an author, historian, and election judge.
I think there's a freedom idea in it. You even see them and you hear them. And, you know, when there's a whole group of them, I like it.
Judy's work advocating for and telling the stories of underrepresented groups is just one reason why she was recently honored by the city of St. Paul.
As a result of Judy's many accomplishments over her life, our community is better for it, because when Judy sets her mind to something, she doesn't give up.
Thanks to the Dream Foundation and Alina Hospice, Judy didn't have to give up her dream of going for a ride.
Cool. It was wonderful. And we need to do something about some of the streets, but it was just wonderful. Now I don't want to get off. You know, how much does one of these cost?
With her own dream now realized, Judy hopes her ride gives others the inspiration to try something new.
Life is to be lived. Sometimes you just don't take an opportunity. It might be a small one. And sometimes you think, oh, do I want to do that? I think you try it. And if it doesn't work, well, then you learned as well, because nothing, it goes perfectly. If it does, you're not living the best life.
Alan Henry, WCCO News.
Still to come, some winning moves. We're going to tell you how you helped these talented young stars get to the national stage.